Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 2 for this news report or bulletin today. It's Monday, November 26, 2012. My website is ggnonline.com, and on YouTube my channels are ddarko2012 and ddarko2013. Okay, so we left off with 30 cops treat Good Samaritan like a thief. A man sues him for $1 million. So we basically left off here. Police had left the money in the handbag, and basically this guy thought that it was left. You know, it's old. Even if he took the money, and because he thought it was just an old-ass purse, unless you can find some kind of identification for, to return it to, it's just kind of finders keepers, right? But the police are, it's just so crazy that they do a lot of this stuff now, like these little subtle little things of testing the public's ethics, I guess you can say, whether they themselves are just completely unethical and immoral. And it's proven every day with all these news reports. But they're going to go in here and try to put purses, old raggedy-ass purses, in the middle of a park and sit there behind bushes and have a stakeout, right? Of all the crime and the millions and billions and trillions that are being stolen. This guy says it was a very bad experience. He's a successful real estate agent from Atlanta. And he says, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've never been arrested. And for them to put me in handcuffs in the middle of the day in front of my kids was humiliating. So this actually happened August 11, 2011 as part of a sting operation that NYPD calls Operation Lucky Bag. So I guess it's not that lucky. It's a controversial little action in which cops put valuables such as cash, an iPod, or other electronics in a handbag and then arrest whoever tried to walk away with the whatever booty, I guess they call it. But yeah, it smacks of entrapment, and also the TSA has been busted stealing iPods and cash and stealing drugs and everything else. So Tulsa County checkpoint busts uninsured drivers. So this is great. Oklahoma is cracking down on uninsured drivers by testing a new method in Tulsa. They said they set up an insurance checkpoint in West Tulsa overnight Saturday. So we already know that insurance itself in a free market, in a free society, would not exist. We also know that it's forced on people. So except for maybe illegal immigrants who like to smash in and drive like crazy, and then and they're not really responsible. So, but it goes on and also says that they were there until 3 a.m. making sure drivers had proof of insurance. I'm sure they did a lot more, because it says violators received a $250 ticket, and those with zero insurance had their cars towed. So, but you know that they do other things. Like this, like I said before, they're looking for anything. So they'll look, oh, I smell pot. Oh, I smell alcohol. Ooh, what's that? And they'll be looking and scoping out inside your car, asking you 20 questions, because they're revenue collectors. A Georgia pig arrests man video recording him during a traffic stop. A Georgia police officer was able to maintain his professionalism for only a few minutes before he arrested a citizen who was recording him during a traffic stop. So the 19-year-old was charged with obstructing or hindering law enforcement officers because he chose to narrate into his video camera after signing the citation instead of tearing out of the parking lot within seconds of receiving it. So it goes on here and it says that it was obvious in the video that the police officer was trying to teach this individual a lesson. So he is planning a lawsuit, but it says as a result, the individual with the recorder spent 2 hours in jail before paying a $500 bond to be released. He had to pay an additional $150 because of his 95 Camaro had been impounded. Says he had been in the U.S. Army for 2 years and is worried the arrest will affect his ROTC scholarship. And here's a video you can check out as well. Links will be posted in YouTube's video description. Philadelphia political law enforcement pig questions open carry activists. So an open carry for firearms activist posted his encounter with 2 Philadelphia police officers to YouTube after they questioned him about his permit and told him he couldn't legally carry hollow point ammunition. But it goes on and says hollow point rounds are permitted in Pennsylvania. The cop asked several questions and said, "Shut your mouth, don't call me officer." The other cop repeatedly tells Rodriguez that his gun should be concealed and says, "I should have pulled my gun out on you, technically." See, that's how they think, right? Because any form of you asserting your sovereignty is imposing on their authority over you, right? Salt Lake City police to wear video cameras. Says, can they turn the cameras off as they are about to beat the shit out of someone or kill them for no reason? That's what Cryptagon asked. It says, mounted on the side of the pair of sunglasses, what Salt Lake City Police Chief Chris Burbank says is the future of revenue collecting. It says the body cameras work like dash cameras already in police cars. They'll provide an eye-level view of officers on one-on-one interaction with the sheeple. So Burbank, sounding like Howard Hughes in The Aviator, says it's the wave of the future. So goes on, and it also says that these tiny weightless cameras will soon be on every police officer in the state. And he also says that if the city goes this direction, if any agency goes this direction, the expectation is going to be, in my mind, that everyone will move in this direction. Anger as government plans for a new network of road tolls policed by cameras revealed. So this is in the UK. Motorists will be expected to pay a new round of pay-as-you-go or pay-as-you-drive charges under plans being drawn up by the government. Says they already exist for 3 new toll stations under which drivers will have to pay online or via their mobile phone. Says the new charges come at a time when drivers are paying in record 81 pence tax per liter on their fuel, with another rise of 3 pence planned for January. So yeah, what they're talking about is automatically recognizing license plate numbers. Police chief uses unique method to control homeless population. So before I've talked about how they wanted to basically track the homeless, put little scanners on them, RFID chips, also that they wanted to hook them up to Wi-Fi and turn them into Wi-Fi hotspots. In South Park, they wanted to turn them into tires so they can use them for that as well. But they're going to move down here as soon as this gets done messing around. A new law would give the Nevada City the power to hand out permits to a small group of homeless, which would then give them permission to sleep in public. But the new ordinance would give some homeless a place to stay, would tell others, mostly the troublemakers and criminals, to stay away. Says that they found a one-of-a-kind way to manage a growing problem. The goal is to start managing the homeless population within our city. They asked the council members to pass a no camping ordinance. He says it just basically means you can't set up a tent, you can't live in your vehicle, you can't live in the woods in Nevada City. He said, so basically you can't go anywhere. And this is the template like everywhere else. So it's like you can't really do this anywhere else in the world for the most. Maybe in Siberia or something like that, or in the deep of Alaska. But this is pretty standard policy for everywhere. Driving across the United States, I noticed how everything was fenced off from eastern Midwest all the way out to the West Coast. And it's like that everywhere else. I think it's in Australia. They have, I think it's like 3,000 miles, the longest fence in the world. And of course, you got the Great Wall of China. But he says that unless you have a permit, in other words, unless you have permission from the parents, you cannot do that. So, pay to protest. So some homeless are almost making a living. The homeless are actually being hired to be activists, like rent-a-mobs. You've seen that a lot. People a lot of Obama zombies too. They don't even know what the policies are, but they're bussed and they're shipped out there to protest against things they don't understand. So they're using the homeless on behalf of the Mid-Atlantic Regional Council of Carpenters in downtown Washington, D.C. So they get $8.50 an hour to chant about substandard wages and benefits at work sites where contractors are not using union labor. I wonder if they're actually doing this. It says some of the picketers are homeless. So I wonder if they're doing this at Walmart as well. Stores start using spy mannequins to boost sales. Fashion brands are deploying mannequins equipped with technology used to identify criminals at airports. It says to watch over shoppers in their stores. Retailers are introducing the IC sold by the Italian mannequin maker to glean data on customers, saying it's spooky, said the head of the luxury goods research. You wouldn't expect a mannequin to be observing you. So the mannequin looks ordinary from the outside, but it said inside it's no dummy. A camera embedded in one eye feeds data into facial recognition software like that's used by the police. It logs age, gender, and race of the passerbys. Then students suspended for refusing to wear a school-issued RFID tracker. A Texas high school student is being suspended for refusing to wear a student ID card implanted with a radio frequency identification chip. So the school district of San Antonio began issuing these RFID chip-laden student body cards when the semester began in the fall. They have information such as the student's social security number. The RFID chip monitors people's movement on campus when they arrive and when they leave. It says now schools across the nation are slowly adopting these things as well. Palm scanners get thumbs up in schools and hospitals. Palm scanning technology uses unique blah blah blah, right? It's not cool. But it says it's so quick that a child could be standing in line, call mom and say, I forgot my lunch today. So she's by her computer, runs her card, and by that time the child is at the front of the line. And it's already recorded. So it says students take about 4 seconds to swipe and pay for lunch. And they're doing it with 99% accuracy. We just love it, and no one wants to go back, they say. So again, palm scanning technology popping up nationwide. So fingerprint scans create unease for poor parents. Some Mississippi parents are learning a new routine when they drop their kids off at a daycare center, that they are taking part in a new pilot program aimed at combating fraud and saving the state money. Under the program, the state scans parents' fingerprints to capture biometric information, and it's turned into a number. Then, at a daycare center, parents dropping off or picking up their kids put their fingers on a pad, and a small keyboard records the exact time a child is checked in or out. I mean, dude, this is like they're treating children when they go in these re-education camps literally like objects, like cattle. But it says here, only the parents of kids who receive subsidized childcare have to do the scans, and the program is roiling some parents as daycare workers. Well, don't send your kids to re-education camps so you won't have that problem. Also, you won't have problems with police visiting your house if your kid is truant. So that's another thing in Texas. They're really Texas truancy task forces, and they enforce them big time. Also in Texas, there was also schools and parents that were basically protesting against these RFID chip trackers. So the last time we saw these little guard tower shacks was at a Walmart parking lot. I've mentioned before, Walmart is what keeps America going, literally. I think it's a military, it's some kind of military operation or something. I mean, they're going to be turned into FEMA camps. You look at them, they look like fortresses. There's no windows. They're a transportation and delivery hub. And like I said, they may help Americans maintain their standard of living that really should have been lost about 30 years ago. So they're relying on these Walmarts, and now that these people are protesting, it kind of makes it kind of interesting that they're all of a sudden protesting. And everything is about Walmart now. Because I think I mentioned before, when you see people not being able to afford Walmart, or for some reason Walmart no longer being available, that's when you should be ready for the shit to hit the fan. You had these little guard checks. It says, new equipment helps Buffalo police oversee Chippewa. The night before Thanksgiving is one of the busiest nights, blah, blah, blah. So they give you their justification for having these fucking things. That's what they're doing. They're justifying them for you. They're making up your mind. This is what these journalistic hacks do. They put this in there, present the problem right off to say, well, it means it's also a big night for the pigs. However, a new piece of equipment will help the pigs keep the streets calm. 30 feet up in the air, Buffalo pigs say the Skywatch will give them a bird's eye view of the area, helping them keeping everyone safe Thanksgiving Eve. The mayor says it allows us to be able to see in various directions. The cameras have clarity and expansion of our police camera surveillance system. So people are just trying to go out and relax. The pigs are going to be out there. Yeah, they're also ramping up patrols. So they're going to try to collect as much revenue as they can and exploit the ever-dying middle class to squeeze a little bit more out of them. Big Brother is watching, fears over homeland security, streetlights that can record your conversations and track your movements. So, like something out of a sinister Orwellian vision of future. So there we go. This is to calm you down, to make you think that this isn't actually reality. This is way off down the road. Okay, don't worry about it. This is Orwellian. This is Big Brother. This is sci-fi. But actually, they've been doing it real strong for the past 3 years. You go downtown Chicago, you could actually see street lights, probably about 7 feet up in the air, and they have real fancy street lights, and they have cameras in them. Real nice and cute. Streetlights with the ability to monitor conversations and announce government warnings are being installed on American streets. So, announce government warnings. So, most of you have already have seen this stuff before. But just imagine when they start barking orders like at the airport. Did you see that video on YouTube where it's showing the TSA treating people like they're cattle, telling them stop, making them stop for no reason, saying it's a security exercise, and then saying, okay, green light, okay, go, and then they go. Imagine when they start telling people when to move, when to stop. Well, they're already doing it with streetlights. They've been conditioning people for years. Thank you.